Happy Monday, and welcome to our mindful start into the week with Anetta and I. Today, we are excited to talk about how you invest in yourself for real growth and true transformation. Anetta and I are holding our first ever online live summit at the end of May on May 24th and 25th, and we're so excited to invite you guys over. We have now 6 speakers lined up, and we've just done the schedule. It's all coming to fruition. And we know that when you dedicate yourself truly, you also have to pay for it because you pay attention what you pay to. And if you ever think about it, the free groups or the free things that you've done before, do you really pay attention to it? Like, it's not on the top of your list. So today we just want to talk about this topic, bring it really into discussion. If you have any questions, as always, please do join us and ask us anything. Yeah, we're opening up with maybe a taboo topic of how much money you should invest in yourself and also why. Why do you think, Anetta, like from your personal storytelling, why and when did you finally invest in yourself truly when you invested money, time, and really knowing, yeah, now I'm going to change?
You know what? It's interesting because I think this kind of goes back to when we're kids, and our parents buy things for us. We don't fully appreciate those things until we get our first job. And suddenly, that Starbucks that we wanted, it's not really a necessary thing that we want anymore, or that t-shirt that you saw at the store last week, because when we're working for our money, we're more conscious about it and we're more serious about the things that we're purchasing. So that kind of like goes back to if you're attending a free event or if you're attending a free community chat, then you don't take the information or the event as serious versus when you're actually investing money into going to a workshop, or if you're investing money into some kind of courses or some kind of mentorship, then you tend to take it more serious because you know how hard you worked to be able to pay for that and you know what it took. So yeah, I highly recommend or I highly encourage people that if you're gonna invest in anything, invest in yourself, invest in skills because material things are cool, but at the end of the day, nothing builds your character like investing in yourself.
Yeah, but it's so funny when you say it like that because I'm totally on board. Like, paying for your inner investment, let's say for your self growth, for me has never been a question. Like, I've always done it. I trained to be a yoga teacher when I was 23 and
Mhm.
I was just finishing uni, and it was a lot of money. I worked 2 jobs, but it was my passion. I wanted to be a yoga teacher. And there was no questioning. It was like, I'm doing this. And since then, I would just invest in myself with courses, with therapy, with coaches and mentors myself, because I'm a coach and I feel like everyone needs a mentor and coach themselves. And all of the most, successful people have. And then it really made me notice, though, that not everyone's like me.
Mhm.
And how it's so funny how people like spend on the gym with not a question at all. They spend on the salon like you've worked in
Mhm.
the salon, you know how easy people just like go and spend on their nails, on their hair, on their looks. Always on the outside. And then it made me notice, like, wow, like we live in such a superficial society, like that we don't question, hey, Emily,
Hey.
um, we don't question, like, buying, you know, I don't know, like a holiday or like a spa. Like, obviously, they also make you feel good, but like long term transformation comes from when you really see your shadows and you take the time to work on yourself, also with others, question yourself, reflect, invite introspection. But I don't know about you, Anetta, but not everyone is like ready because it's like they're scared or it's not like such a thing in our society, is it? I mean, maybe more so with yoga these days. I've seen more of a trend, but it's a funny one.
It's interesting because if you look at highly successful people, they are able to buy a lot of things, like a lot of material things, and that's great, but they always say it's the skills that they invested in themselves to build who they are. Because if you lose those material things, it's not going to affect you. It's who you became in the process. And who you become in the process of becoming successful is the skills that you pay for to become a better version of yourself. Whether that's getting a coach, whether that's going to therapy, whether that's self-help books or listening to more podcasts, it's building your character and building who you are because those are that your education is something that nobody can take away from you. And that's one of the biggest blessings that you can accumulate is more education on how to be a better version of yourself and how you can help other people. Because I've always stuck by this quote, if you help enough people get what they want, you will eventually get what you want. And if you can't help other people, if you don't invest in skills and if you don't invest in qualities on how to be a better person and how to serve others. I'm a firm believer that we're all on this planet to serve one another in some shape, way, or form. Whether it's whatever field of area you're in or whatever career you're in, we're all here to serve one another. So why not help another person get what they want? Because eventually things will come back full circle. So I completely agree with you on that.
Yeah, it's like what I was saying with Alan yesterday in our live as well, that altruism is truly at all of our cores. And I think when we are so disconnected in our world, right? And
Mhm,
like this whole, like, even though we're living in a time of like, we've never been so connected, right? Like, we're
mhm.
halfway across the world, but we're like connected. This has never happened. We're still feeling so disconnected because we're using technology in a way that's not benefiting us. So then when I think about like, okay, we have to live with ourselves. Like you have to live with yourself every day, every minute of the day. So why
Mhm,
wouldn't you want to invest money in making your mind a lovely place, a safe haven? Why wouldn't you want to invest in the inner? That's why our summit is called Nourished Inside Out, named after Anetta's podcast, because why wouldn't you want to invest in what's going on in your mind so that you make your life a happy place? At the end of the day, I really notice like those people that maybe don't really know or are scared, it's because they're scared of getting out the comfort zone. And the comfort zone can get
mhm.
really cozy and comfy, and I get it. But when you crack through, and especially in like a live summit in a community that we're forming together, we're all there to support you. We're all there to support each other. And there's nothing to be scared of. I'd rather be scared of living a life that entails fear, anxiety, doubt, questioning every day. Like I've been there myself and it's horrible. It takes so much energy up that you don't even have enough energy to have a good life. Um, and it's funny, like, because when you were just saying, like, the best thing is education, I'm the same. I've just always loved learning. Like, I feel like lifelong learning is the best.
Yeah.
'Cause we're constantly changing, right? We're constantly growing, and we have to get stronger. If our world around us is getting crazier, why don't we
Yeah.
want to get stronger together?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll give you this example. Like it was a real life example. I remember when I was starting a relationship with my ex, we we were toxic to each other and we were just never on the same page. And we moved in together after 2 months of dating. And 2 days after we moved in together, I decided I was going to go to cosmetology school. And I immersed myself in the education because my ex was trying to take everything from me, my sanity, my peace, my joy, and sometimes even material things. And I kept telling myself, like, no matter what he tries to take from me, he cannot take my education away from me. So I'm going to suck it up and I'm going to finish school because at the end of the day, I'm going to take my education with me after I leave this relationship, and I can take it to move and grow in other places. And it's been such a blessing. Like, I was listening to podcasts, I was reading self-help books because those whatever I was putting in my mind, that's what he couldn't take away from me. So no matter how many times he tried to knock me down, whatever his evil tactics were, they weren't going to work because I had the resilience in the mindset. I had the confidence that I was building. I was building all of those areas of my life to the point where I can eventually get up and walk away. And I can't say I would be able to get up and walk away from that relationship without the education that I was putting into myself. I think, like, if I didn't go to beauty school or cosmetology school, then I wouldn't have the education I do around the beauty industry. And it's something that I've been able to take with me as I travel or if I move to another city or another state. And it's something that I can continue moving forward because those are skills that I invested in myself. But if we invested in material things together, if I, whatever I bought with my ex, I don't have that anymore. We bought a new couch together. I don't have that couch. We bought a new bed together. I don't have that bed because those are material things. But when it comes to investing in yourself, I always recommend invest in yourself as much as you can because your education is something people can't take away.
Yeah, that's such a nice way of putting it, that that's kind of what saved you out of that a bit because that was yours and he couldn't take that away. Because it's
Exactly.
true, like, people can take a lot away from us, our confidence, a lot, because people, well, I mean, we have like this toxic energy and, both sides. So, what can empower you is learning. Learning empowers you from inside out. It not only gives you knowledge, but it gives you confidence. So, you going to that school gave you confidence that you could stand on your own 2 feet, literally, as a hairdresser, and get your stuff, get out and do your own thing and travel, which you did in the end, and you moved to Mexico. And it's funny because it wasn't just your education to learn cosmetology and all that. It probably really gave you so much more confidence to do these little steps on your way, to like
Hmm.
being independent. And I think that's also a big key factor that people miss, that education isn't just learning. You learn so much through it. You prove your worth to yourself again, right? Like, I am now in my last few months, which is crazy, in being a kindergarten teacher here in Germany. And, like in 2022, when I started it, my confidence and self esteem were low. Like, in myself, good, but in the language, in what I was doing,
Mm.
I was a bit like, oh, like icky. And I just was like, I remember questioning myself all the time. Can I do this in German? Oh, will I be good enough? And, like questioning myself. And then only a year and 2 years in, then I was like getting good grades, like proving to myself. Like, I remember the first grade, Anetta, I got back, the first ever one from one of the topics that was my favorite because it's like sociology and psychology and the children. I got a one and I like looked at it twice, like, how? And then like even my friend was like, oh, well done. And I like just didn't expect it because I didn't believe in myself. And I will always remember that moment because I was like, Grace, you can do it. And from that moment, it just switched in me. I can do anything I want. And I just went through these studies then with like that mindset. And now I have my big exam in 3 weeks, and I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Like, I've got it. Like, that there's people that are stressed with exams, stressed with life. And I'm like, why are you stressing? Like, I really don't see the point anymore because I just see if you believe in yourself, you've got it. But like, you have to learn to believe in yourself. And I think just proving yourself that you can do so much more than you think comes from education. And educating yourself in a live summit with us is so much more practical than a self-help book, because a lot of the time, like, I'm a self-help author. Hi, Alan. And
Hey.
thousands of people have read my book and they have said it's amazing, especially because it's practical advice. But then some people are like, it's funny, because I read self help books and I can read so many and they all just sound the same, but I can't apply it to my own life. And then I was always like, okay, one day I'll do a course, one day I'll do a summit. Here we are doing it because I think in these like moments, you can actually give the people, depending on who they are, what they need, their interests, like practical steps to get where they want to.
Mhm.
And we do need like other people to show us that, like different perspectives and all of that. Oh, Emily, that's so funny. Yeah,
That
that's
is
so funny.
totally yeah, I wanted to ask you, Grace, can you like explain to like us people who don't know what a one is because we don't go off of that? I'm like, is that good or bad? I don't know.
What do you say in the States for like
A,
grading?
A,
Yeah,
B, C.
that's what we do in England as well. It's an A. Yeah.
Okay.
And I never gotten like an A in like anything. So I was just like, wow. And that was like my first grade back. And I was like, I asked her, like, my German's really bad. She's like, yeah, I don't count your German in. And I remember my, like, literally my pressure just went. She was like, don't worry. Like, she's like, honestly, the nicest teacher ever. And those teachers that just like are lovely and just like give you that
Yeah.
strength? She was like, don't worry about your German. Like, I can tell that you write really well. You know what you're writing. I'm not going to, fault your grammar and all of this. And oh my gosh, Anetta, a massive weight was lifted like off because I
Yeah.
remember it was always for me that was the biggest point. It wasn't that I couldn't learn the things because I love learning and I know I'm good at it, especially if you enjoy it, right? It was more just like the grammar and the German. And I was like, oh, and when she said that, me and my friends, I have a Croatian and a Colombian friend, we were all like, oh, we're fine. And now we're all getting better grades than the Germans in our class. And we're like, who would have thought?
That's a really great example of don't sweat the small stuff. Like, you move to another country, you're not fully fluent in the language, but you still took a leap of faith and you went to school and you're not fully confident in the language, but you said, I'm gonna figure it out. I think a lot of times we get into our heads about the details of little things,
Yeah,
when in reality, all of those little things will be figured out and it's just as long as you have the bigger picture in mind, the path will figure itself out. You will find clarity on the path. You just have to take that first. You just have to be willing to know that you are capable. It starts with you. It starts with what you're telling yourself on the inside. Like, I'm capable. I may not be perfect, but I'm willing to learn. I may not know everything, but there's a solution to every problem. And when you get into the mindset of thinking like that, then you can overcome anything that you put your mind to. So I really love that example that you shared. Thank you.
yeah, it's just all about tapping into your belief system. And the moment you tap into self belief, work on your childhood, work on your shadows, work on trauma, like whatever, just a big box of lovely past, right?
Yeah.
We just untangle everything. And then you really get to notice, like, oh, I only think that because of that conditioned behavior, or
Mhm.
I only think that because I was told that. But actually, I'm going to rewire that because I know I believe in myself. I know I can do this. And when you become so convicted in the knowledge that we are all human beings with a divine intelligence within us that knows everything, call it God, call it our higher intelligence, whatever you want to call it, the spirit within us, I am very confident that we all know everything, but we just have to take the measure, which is in silence, which is in reflection, to really listen to our sweet intuition. And then she'll give us all of the answers we need. And when you notice that, like, you are capable of anything, like, it just sounds funny, doesn't it, when you say it? But, like, it really is like that. Like, it's our superpower when you notice, like, wow, I can do it because you look back with what all you've done And then you're just like, well, why wouldn't I be able question yourself? Why wouldn't I be able to do this now if I've done that? That's really helped me, you know?
Absolutely. It all always goes back to yourself. Like, if you want to attract your perfect dream partner, it starts with you. What are you attracting? How are you treating yourself? Because how you treat yourself is how you're going to attract another person. If you, like, honestly, like, everything starts with cleaning. I saw this post and said everything starts with cleaning. If you want healthy lifestyle, start with cleaning your diet. If you want to have healthy relationships, start by cleaning out your old habits. If you want to focus more in your space, clean your room. It all starts with cleaning cleaning out the old so we can make room for the new. And I really love that because I understand like if you start changing like patterns and habits, you may not see change right away, but if you consistently create good, tiny habits, tiny and actionable habits, then you will eventually get to where you want. But first, it starts with having the goal in mind and then breaking it down into tiny, actionable habits. There were so many times where I was working at the salon, a client comes and sits in my chair and they're like, shows me a picture and they're like, I want this. Then I look at it and I look at their hair and I'm like, how is this possible? But then I look at the bigger picture on their phone and then I start breaking it down into tiny actionable steps. Well, what's the foundation? What did I learn in school that my teachers always said that were the basics? And how can I break this down? And then eventually we would get to the goal on what they wanted, but it always starts by breaking things down into tiny actionable steps.
I love that. So nice the way that you described that with your work as well. It's not easy once you start. Yeah, Alan, that is basically what we've also been saying. It's really the first step, which is the hardest. And Anetta and I are here to hold your hands. We're here to support you. And if it is going to be your first step, then I tell you, our live summit will be your best first step. And because it will just be a weekend full of great speakers, full of support, and so many cool workshops and talks that you will just be able to kind of dive deep into who you really want to be, what you really want to achieve, how to love yourself, how to be true to yourself. And Netta just mentioned if you want to, for example, you just said if you want to attract your dream partner, you have to start with yourself, like with everything, basically. If you want something, you have to start with yourself. But in this case, I just wanted to mention one of our speakers. She's a relationship coach. You obviously know more about her. And yeah, Annetta met with her last week in Chicago. So this is really exciting. And do you want to tell us a bit more about her?
Yeah, so one of our speakers, Lauren, she is an absolute gem. And something that really stood out to me about the work that she does is we've all have gone on Instagram and seen videos about dating from relationship coaches. And I've noticed that a lot of the males who are dating coaches, they work with females. And a lot of females who are dating coaches, they work with males. And that's great because they get the perspective from each other. But for example, if I'm watching a video of a dating coach who is a male and he says, men love this, or if you want to attract men, you should do this. That immediately takes my brain to how can I change myself to fit into this box so that I can be attracted to these types of men? Or how can I attract these types of what really stood out to me about Lauren is that she's a female dating coach and she works with females to become their best self so they can attract the partner that reflects a version of them instead of fitting into a box of who they think they should be. And it all starts with yourself, like your confidence, your self image, how you're viewing relationships. removing old patterns and old habits and thoughts about relationships. So we're really excited about having her on and having her teach you guys about that as well, how applying dating into finding fulfillment in yourself so then you can find fulfilling relationships.
Yeah, she's not on Substack yet, Emily. It seems like Anetta is in the works of transitioning her here. It's so funny. We were talking about it today because I brought Ayman. She's a lovely girl that I met on Instagram, I think already 2, 3 years ago. And we just brought out an article today about the creativity and, like, the healing art of creating art. She seems to now be officially here on Substack too. So I love that we're just like bringing everyone here. Yeah,
Community.
here. It's just like Substack is the place, and we just want to invite you all. That we just, we love nurturing our community here. We want to invite you all into our live summit now. We've been coming live here with you guys since the start of January, which is crazy. We've stayed consistent. We've showed up. We've shared so many lessons with you that we want to like bring more lessons from so many, beautiful people that we've met, including Matt and Cheryl that we met here on Substack. I wouldn't necessarily say it's about writing, but it's also the foundation of being a successful writer is loving yourself, believing in yourself. I mean, I would just say the foundation for everything, Anetta, is believing and loving yourself. Like, you don't even have to say like it's for, attracting your dream relationship. It's basically for like not just attracting, but curating your dream life is really the starter pack is believing in yourself, right?
Completely. It all starts within yourself. We highly encourage you guys to join us on May 24th and May 25th for our Nourished Inside Out Live Virtual Summit because it's going to be a life-changing weekend for a lot of us. We're going to build community. We're going to learn how to nurture ourselves from the inside out so we can truly be the best version of ourselves for the people around us. And it's gonna be a really great breakthrough weekend, so we want you there with us. You know, it takes a village to do something great. It's kind of like saying this the other day, like, anybody here who has solo traveled, you solo travel starts solo in the beginning, but it never ends solo. So your healing journey may start solo, but we want to be here with you on your healing journey. We want to help you grow and grow together and become the best version of ourselves. So we want to see you there and we encourage you to join us.
Yeah, because together we grow exponentially. We are human beings at our core, which means we are social beings and we're here for each other. We're here to bring the best out of each other as well as the worst, but we learn so much through each other. So, yeah, we're really excited about our live summit on May 24th and 25th. We will be sharing a link with this live at the end so you can get your tickets now. And we did our schedule today, so we will be slowly sharing some sneak peeks of what exactly you will be learning, from how to attract your dream partner with our relationship coach, to how to heal through creativity and finding your creativity again, to so many more topics. And it's just really exciting. We've really done our best at like giving you a good scope of what self-love can really mean if you think of it as a tree and all the branches. Obviously, there are so many branches to it and blossoms, but I think we've picked out a good few branches for you guys. So thank you for joining us today. We will be back next Monday, but we will also now be coming on Wednesdays to collab with our upcoming speakers. So next week, hopefully, we'll be coming live with Rachel. And then we'll just give you deeper insights into what they're offering you in our live summit as well. So thanks for joining us. And I hope you have a mindful start to your week, as well as every day of the week, not just Mondays. And yeah, we look forward to it.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.